Hello, I'm Una. You are very welcome to my channel. I'm very excited about this video in particular because I use two techniques that I've never used before, vellum and watercolour background. Now, my vellum isn't vellum, it's parchment paper, but I found it in my crafty stash and I have it for absolutely ages. To me, it looks quite like vellum and it gives a lovely frosted effect when applied to images. The Altenew set Antique Roses is the one I'm using today, and I've used it in a video before and I'll link to that video. But today I'm going to be not only stamping the flowers but using the embossed, and the parts I'm pointing to in the stamp set are the bits that I emboss on vellum. So here I am with my Misty stamping tool. The vellum is set up and I'm using Versamark, and I prepped the parchment paper with anti-static powder tool. Now, when you're heating embossing powder on parchment paper or vellum, I suspect, don't overheat it. Just keep bringing your tool to the paper and lifting it away as quickly as possible, because it embosses in jiffy quick time and it turns out absolutely gorgeous with just a few seconds. And look at this, there's hardly any warping at all in this, very sturdy. I use the stamped images behind the parchment paper to guide me as to how to cut out the vellum images. Parchment paper, sorry, you're going to have to ignore the fact that I keep calling this vellum. And I just love the effect. The muted colour, the frosted image, it's just absolutely gorgeous, and I hope you can see it. It's in real life, it's just really gorgeous. I didn't think there was enough embossing on the large flower, so I took out my Versamarker, and putting the parchment paper over the flower, I was able to see the dark bits through it, and those were the bits that I wanted to add embossing to, so I just drew them with the marker. This Versamarker pen has the very same ink as the Versamark pad, so I was able to add embossing powder, heat it up, and then I was very happy with it. It had a far more balanced look, and it's great the way you can make those adjustments yourself with the Versamarker pen. Now, I was absolutely delighted with the way the flowers were looking at this stage, and it was at this point that I decided to go ahead with this project because I was so thrilled with the outcome. I'm showing very quickly how I stamp the flowers. I have another video that I'm going to link to up in the top corner if you want to see at a much slower pace how these flowers are layered. You can watch that. I'm just going to show you very, very quickly here, and I'm using a selection of inks from Altenew and Memento. I list all my supplies below the video, so if you ever want to check out something that you see me using, you'll probably find it in the list. And if I've forgotten and you want to know, please just ask, leave me a comment below the video. I welcome queries and suggestions and advice. The last little piece in this flower is absolutely worth taking the trouble to put it on because it gives such definition to the flower. Absolutely gorgeous. And just showing you here as well that I used frayed leaf from Altenew to stamp the leaves. Just one layer. I felt there was no need to do any more than that. This cluster is from an older set. It's from, I won't think of it now. I'll list it below. And this add-on was issued last year, and it's an absolute lifesaver when it comes to layering this cluster. There used to be 10 little pieces that you had to use to layer the leaves, and now there are just 2. There's absolutely no difficulty with this first piece, but this one, it's a little tricky. It did take me a little while that I edited it out to get it into place. But once you've done that, there are only 2 pieces that you have to use, so it's really no problem at all, and produces a gorgeous looking image. Absolutely love this cluster. I then used the die to cut the leaf cluster shape out of vellum, and I used the stamped image to guide me as to how I should apply the layer that I want to emboss onto the parchment. This Misty stamping tool is just so useful. If you haven't invested in one to date, I would really recommend it. It is such a worthwhile investment. Now, I didn't use my anti-static powder bag on this, and I had to remove some of the embossing powder with my paintbrush. I think that's looking really nice. Two important tools are good tweezers and good glue, and I use high-tack fast-tack glue in this Gina K bottle. I'm speeding up the video again because I don't need to show you how to apply glue at a slow pace, but I'm just showing how these came together. I was able to put the glue behind the embossing, and when it came to the leaves, they would have been a little loose in places if I didn't put little dabs of glue on the white edges, and there is a white trim around these because they've been die cut, so I was able to put glue, tiny dots of glue that don't show. So I just had to make some more of those and I'd be ready for assembling a card. Now, this really excited me. I never did this before. I've watched loads and loads of videos. I just thought I'd never make anything of it. But I decided to try it, and I used Pumice Stone, a distress ink called Pumice Stone. And believe it or not, Pumice Stone must be made with pink and green pigments to create that sort of green-grey that it is. Because when I applied lots of water to it and spread it on my mat, pink and green hues started to emerge from the puddles. And I was absolutely thrilled with the background that I created. So I used a piece of press and seal to pick up all my stamps and turned that over and adhered the watercolour piece to my card base. I'm using a 5x7 Paper Mania card base. And with double-sided tape, I was then able to adhere the watercolour paper and trim off the excess. That double-sided tape is really, really strong and is going to hold this strong paper. I applied glue to the back of all the flowers and then carefully decided where I was going to place my arrangement, adhered it down, removed the press and seal carefully. You do need to be careful not to pull off any of the ink. Then I just squeezed glue in under the bits on top that aren't adhered properly yet, and decided to pop up some of the pieces on the left-hand side of the arrangement with glue dots. Foam circles. This happy birthday die from Dovecraft, I cut out with my Gemini Junior out of lovely sort of eggshell blue rag paper. I thought it was a lovely contrast. Snipped off that little bit hanging out over the edge of the card, and then for a last embellishment I applied some little things from Lucy that looked like water droplets. And I was absolutely thrilled with the outcome. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for visiting Una's Crafty Cards. I hope you'll come back for another video. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel, and if you'd give this video a like. YouTube might show my videos to some more people. Please do come back again. All the best for now. Bye.